Welcome, genre fans! This video marks the end of the genre fans' first season on the Giallo explosion in Italy. We thought we would cap it off with a discussion of other notable filone directors who made gialli but were known more for work in other genres such as spaghetti westerns and cannibal exploitation. Umberto Lenzi is a truly prolific genre director, famed for cannibal films from the 70s and 80s like The Man from the Deep River, Eaten Alive, and Cannibal Ferox, and splatter films from the 80s like Ghost House and Nightmare City. Lenzi is similar to Sergio Martino in that he made slick, commercial giallo fare, then moved on quickly. Lenzi also worked consistently with Luciano Martino. In particular, he made a series of pre-boom period erotic thrillers with American actor Carol Baker in the late 60s, Orgasmo, So Sweet, So Perverse, and A Quiet Place to Kill. These concentrated less on the killer design and lurid, stylized murders than the psychological thriller elements. After Dario Argento's revitalization of Giallo in the early 70s, Lenzi shifted to gialli with representative tropes like killer design, subjective camera work, and salaciousness. Seven Bloodstained Orchids, Knife of Ice, Spasmo, and Eyeball. Seven Bloodstained Orchids and Eyeball in particular use several prominent giallo tropes like killer design, POV, and general sleaze. Luciano Ercoli started as a producer on spaghetti westerns like Duccio Cesari's A Pistol for Ringo and The Return of Ringo. After a stint in Giallo during the boom period, he went on to make historical dramas in Poliziotteschi. His gialli are a trio of films all written by Ernesto Gastaldi and starring Ercoli's wife Nieves Navarro, stage name Susan Scott. Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion features blackmail for sexual sadistic domination. Like The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward, which it predates, Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion has trippy mid-century S&M scenes and the trope of a conniving husband with a male co-conspirator. As with many of these gaslighting narratives, there is a lesbian component. In this case, it is unusually wholesome. The women actually seem into each other. The film is helped by the fantastic Ennio Morricone score. If Susan Scott was more of a support to Dagmar Lysander's lead in Forbidden Photos, she is in the driver's seat in Ercoli's Death Walks films. Death Walks on High Heels has more representative giallo elements than his other gialli, most notably a well-designed killer wearing sea blue contacts and wielding a razor. There is sexual sadism, voyeurism, and 70s racism. Death Walks at Midnight features standard murder mystery plotting with a semi-disguised killer with glasses and spiked glove and a second killer reveal at the end. While the film has mid-century design for days, it strays more international drug smuggling in the denouement and wraps up with a violent rooftop fight scene. Susan Scott does some of her best work in the Death Walks films as a feisty and independent woman terrorized by menacing killers. Luigi Bazzoni directed only a few films. His sole giallo, The Fifth Chord, is most notable for stunning cinematography by Vittorio Storaro, who later received Academy Awards for his work on Apocalypse Now, Reds, and The Last Emperor. Storaro's work in Dario Argento's The Bird with the Crystal Plumage picked up where Mario Bava left off with Blood and Black Lace, and cemented the atmospheric visuals of the filone. The Fifth Chord is about a citizen detective embroiled in a string of murders against the stunning urban backdrops of Rome. Most of the giallo elements of this film revolve around the Eros styles and Storaro's cinematography. Starting as a screenwriter, Aldo Lotto would go on to make mostly crime drama fare. He started his directing career with two artful gialli. Who Saw Her Die is a murder mystery set in Venice, made just 1 year before Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now. Genre darling Anita Strindberg plays the main protagonist's estranged wife who comes to Venice in the wake of her daughter's murder. It prominently features giallo killer POV. Short Night of Glass Dolls is Lotto's take on Poe's story The Premature Burial, starring giallo regular Jean Sorel as foreign journalist Greg Moore working in Soviet Prague. As citizen detective Moore investigates the disappearance of his young girlfriend, he discovers a secret society draining the vitality out of the nation's youth with occult rituals. It's singular in featuring a satanic cult twist ending with Rosemary's Baby timing. Known as one of the fathers of the spaghetti western filone, Duccio Tessari co-wrote A Fistful of Dollars and directed 2 installments of the Ringo series, among many other westerns from the 60s through the 80s. In the early 70s, he directed 2 gialli. The Bloodstained Butterfly is a legal double-crosser which accents giallo tropes like misogynistic murder, an odd twist at the end, and plenty of period sleaze. Puzzle is a drug trafficking thriller with an amnesiac hero. It lacks most giallo elements save being a mystery, but it does have a fun chainsaw fight at the end. Massimo Dallamano started as a cinematographer for iconic spaghetti westerns like A Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More. He directed spaghetti westerns, poliziotteschi, and other thrillers, as well as a singular, sleazy giallo, What Have You Done to Solange? High school teacher Rossini finds himself the prime suspect in a murder investigation after a misogynist killer starts pulling victims from the all-girls school where he works. The film has many giallo elements, including a mysterious killer, subjective camera work, and brutal exploitative killings. Working primarily in poliziotteschi crime thrillers, Romolo Guerrieri made 2 gialli. The Sweet Body of Deborah is sometimes considered the first giallo. Penned by Ernesto Gastaldi, the film emphasizes psychological thriller elements over sexualized murders. Many of the actors would later star in gialli for other directors. Carol Baker worked with Umberto Lenzi. Jean Sorel starred in Aldo Lato's Short Night of Glass Dolls and worked regularly with Lucio Fulci, and George Hilton was a Sergio Martino regular. Guerrieri also directed The Double in 1971, featuring Jean Sorel as a man who gets shot in a parking lot and remembers a crime plot in flashbacks. Giuliano Carnemeo was known for spaghetti westerns and sex comedies. He also directed one giallo, which might be the perfect example of the genre, The Case of the Bloody Iris. It has mid-century style, plenty of nudity and sex, and a well-designed killer with subjective camera work. Produced by Luciano Martino and featuring Edwige Fenech and George Hilton, a sex cult, a racist nightclub scene, and a hard-boiled detective, it could very well be a Sergio Martino film. And that's it for Giallo. Comment below to tell us about any gialli filmmakers or collaborators we missed, and let us know what you thought of our first season. We'll be back in a few weeks to start off our next deep dive series. Until then, please review our first season of essays or listen to Genre Fans on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and select all so you can know first thing when we post. Don't forget to let your film nerd friends know about our channel. Thank you, and see you soon.